So I think the argument for the case you say about, not being a religious person, you know, kind of fundamentally misunderstands what religion is. Which I imagine to you, religion is merely the, physical act of attending a building so as to perhaps engage in a perception of a concept, right? That you go to this building to listen to nice music so that you feel better about yourself, or that you go to this building to kind of physically move the body to, feel better about itself. It's something like that. I think that's what a lot of people believe religion is. I saw a comment about, from a former atheist turned Catholic that said something like how, non-spiritual people, secular-minded people tend to think that religion is from each other superficially different, but theologically the same. But if you actually substantially look into religion, it's actually quite the opposite. It's, superficially the same, but theologically a vast world of difference. And it's not even close. It's not even close. When you look at the substance of the religious claims, whether it be Hinduism, Buddhism, Islam, Christianity, and Judaism, right, the big religions of the world, what you kind of see is, superficially, they're super similar, and that it is a way for mankind to engage with the divine. That is the similarity. And I think that's what people sort of seem to think, that that's all religion is, but it's not that. Religion is making a claim on reality about life after death. It's reality about the spiritual formation of the individual. And so nevertheless, that's kind of a broad overarching framework by which to understand religion. It's mankind's engagement with the divine. And the different religions are different expressions and claims on the fullness of truth when it comes to the divine life. And so I'll go into the two main different definitions of religion by getting into the, etymological root word, like the root word of religion. And then there's two main ones. There's religare and then there's religere. G-A-R-E and then G-E-R-E. Religare, if I remember correctly, no, it's religere, so G-E-R-E, is the intellectual binding, right? Because it means to bind. Like religion is to bind oneself to something. It's to bind oneself to the divine. Religion is the binding of one's intellect to the divine. And then there's religare, which is, I think, a bit more full and maybe substantial, which is the binding of one's relationship with the divine, right? The emotional connection, the spiritual connection that you would have with a friend is what religare is. It's just the relationship you have with the divine. And so then the question becomes, can mankind engage with the divine? And it becomes, if you really just boil it down, yes or no. Can man engage with the divine, yes or no? And obviously the answer is yes. But I don't necessarily think that that's the question people have. I think the question people have is, what's the point? What is the point of religion? What is the point in engaging oneself with the divine? Well, this is where you have to understand certain fundamental and axiomatic truths. Which is that, is there objective truth, goodness, and beauty? Is there, truth, goodness, and beauty that stands outside of mankind's influence that one can develop a relationship with. And so the different religions, while superficially they are the same, theologically they are substantially different, would make a claim on how your relationship with truth, goodness, and beauty should properly be conducted. Because truth, goodness, and beauty is in unison the highest principle mankind can seek. It is the highest principle. Truth, goodness, and beauty. Right, so is it worthwhile to seek after the highest principle, truth, goodness, and beauty? Yes. Simply by virtue of its existence. You should constantly seek after a relationship with goodness. You should continually seek after your relationship with goodness, truth, and beauty. If for one thing, because it makes your life better, it develops a interior life that allows for you to conduct yourself in society, in your personal life, in a manner that is, well, better than it would be otherwise. It's just simply good for you. And of course, we Christians would simply say and posit that that highest principle, truth, goodness, and beauty in itself, is what God is. And that's that. So are you religious? Yeah, because you innately desire to seek after truth, goodness, and beauty. The question is, are you willing to cultivate the virtue necessary to seek after these things voluntarily or not? And that's a whole different kind of conversation. But innately, all people are religious because all people seek after truth, goodness, and beauty, even if they don't realize it. They're continually seeking after their highest principle, but because of the modern kind of relativism and subjectivism, we seem to think that we can define what truth, goodness, and beauty for ourselves without understanding that this self-defining characteristic we have ascertained in our pride and hubris has consequences with how we enact with the world. Because one person's truth could be that they want to cause harm to others. And if the relativists are right in that, then they're completely justified, because for them that is the highest principle. So one's highest principle has to be in accordance with all people's highest principle, which is truth, goodness, and beauty. And so then the question is, does the divine engage with man? That's, a whole different kind of conversation. But, you have to fundamentally understand what religion is before you understand why it's important. And all it is you developing your relationship with the divine, spiritually, emotionally, and intellectually, and rendering to that divine the worship and virtue that divine principle is worthy of. Right, rendering your will into submission of that high divine principle that we Christians would call God.